Good morning. It is Friday, March the 4th. I'm Shane Seeley, and this is the CBC Morning Report. Breathalyzer testing will finally begin in Barbados on April 1st. That's according to the Acting Inspector Rodney Innes. Breathalyzer testing, as you may have remembered, became law back in 2017, and training of police officers has been ongoing.
So between now and the end of the month, we are going to saturate the roads and all the buildings and all the drivers of Barbados with road safety education. That's our intention, to make you aware of the breathalyzer, its positives, and to generally ask people to comply to make the roads of Barbados a lot safer.
And Constable Kimar White is one of the early graduates of the training, and he explains how the equipment works.
In my right hand, I have the printing device for the breathalyzer. So this will be able to print your results instantaneously, and the person will be able to have a copy of their results. This is the actual breath testing device, very small, and is able to store about 4,000 breath tests internally. And it gives you a reading very quickly. Within seconds, you get a reading once you blow. Each person, they blow into an individually packaged mouthpiece, and as you can see, it's sealed. We show you that it's sealed, and we only touch the part with the tab on the end. And as I'm wearing my personal protective gear, out there we'll also be wearing our face shields and our masks while carrying out these tests for our safety.
In other news, leading the morning report, we go to the recently concluded CARICOM summit, where we heard that reducing the cost of food and getting CARICOM nationals to eat more foods produced in the region are two elements which are critical going forward. To this end, Barbados Prime Minister Mornin Barbados has welcomed a proposal by Guyana aimed at advancing CARICOM agri-food systems agendas. Now, Ms. Motley says the initiative came as a result of the Regional Agricultural Ministries meeting back in 2018.
And we indicated then that we really, as a region, needed to recognize that food and water were becoming the new oil, and that we needed to be able to reduce the volume of imports while at the same time increasing the opportunities for our agricultural sector, our farmers in particular, but at the same time seeking to do two other things. One, reduce the cost of food, and two, encourage our people to eat more locally grown food that would be better for them and would help us in reducing the bills we hope in the long run, medium to long term, that we spend in fighting chronic non-communicable diseases. There's too much diabetes, there's too much hypertension, there's too much strokes.
Meanwhile, CARICOM has commended Guyana for its proposal outlining an action-oriented and solution-based initiative aimed at reducing by 25% the region's multi-billion-dollar food bill by 2025. Guyana's President, Dr. Irfan Ali, had outlined the proposal to leaders on the first day of the 33rd Intersessional Summit. Now, the chairman of CARICOM and Prime Minister of Belize, John Brycinio, says a study was conducted to see what products countries can produce.
The idea is that we can try to grow more of what we eat. For instance, we import poultry. There's no need for us to be importing poultry. Or some of the greens, like corn and beans, the different meats. All of that can be grown here in the Caribbean, and Belize certainly is no exception. One of the ideas that actually Prime Minister Motley brought up, which is about the industrialization, to have a working group for industrialization policy, is also because there are a lot of products that we can grow, but we are not adding value to the product, as opposed to just selling the raw product. And that is why then we invited President Santoki to be able to lead that team.
We'll take a break here, but when we come back, we'll have the latest on the COVID-19 situation here in Barbados, and we'll also give you details on the ongoing Russian invasion of Ukraine. The Best Dos Santos Public Health Laboratory identified 162 new COVID-19 cases, 77 males and 85 females from the 1,005 tests conducted on Wednesday, March 2nd. The cases comprised 29 youngsters under the age of 18 and 133 people who were 18 years and older. The number of people in isolation facilities was 59 at that point in time, while 1,686 people were listed in home isolation. As at March 2nd, there were 316 deaths from the viral illness. The Public Health Laboratory has carried out 588,782 tests since February 2020 and recorded 55,705 cases of COVID-19, 25,865 males and 29,840 females. Looking at the vaccination numbers now, under the National Program for COVID-19, the total number of people with at least one dose stands at 160,288, that's 70.2% of the eligible population. The total number of people fully vaccinated stands at 149,692, 55.2% of the total population, or 65.5% of the eligible population. CARICOM Chairman and Prime Minister of Belize, John Brycino, is in the news again, and he's telling the region vaccination rates must increase in the fight against COVID-19 to quicken the pace of a return to some semblance of normalcy. The Prime Minister reiterates the Caribbean is not free of the pandemic just yet.
The reopening of our economies and of our education systems will be greatly assisted by an improvement in the rate of vaccination. We have agreed to mount a regional campaign to combat the disinformation that encourages vaccine hesitancy. The recovery process was also engaged our attention with the CARICOM single market and economy identified as a major plank in that regard.
Over in Jamaica, stakeholders in the entertainment sector are awaiting an announcement from the government about the possible reopening of the industry following recent deliberations. We have a report from TVJ.
TVJ are all deep, put the dogs all deep.
The pulse of the entertainment industry is seemingly beating faster following Prime Minister Andrew Holness's comments that an announcement will be made about the reopening of the sector. Dancehall artists like Tentic says following the relaxation of the COVID containment measures last week, he's already been receiving bookings locally.
The team got a call from England. You see me, I say we got a couple calls from St. Elizabeth about bookings. You see me, about 4 calls we get since the Prime Minister made that statement. So figures are showing themselves say it's a good thing for the entertainment industry. You see me, because people more confident to spend their money, keep them event right now and book artists.
TVJ News caught up with the local government minister Desmond McKenzie, who said Cabinet will discuss the issue on Monday.
I'm not prepared to make any more comments on that until the Cabinet deliberates the matter and take a position.
The Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation is also making preparations for a possible reopening. Mayor of Kingston Delroy Williams says more venues have been proposed to host larger events. Additionally, he says the KSAMC is revising the permit times for some venues that are located in residential areas.
So those are venues that would address the issue of nuisance in terms of noise, what residents regard as noise nuisance.
DJ Shuttlebus from Tivoli Gardens hopes venues like the Edward Siaga Sports Complex will be included for large events.
Most of the venue them in Garrett are free. You just catch up a local sound box in our corner and get a selector. And people them come out. We can't afford to see them and then play select.
He, like Tentic, says the entertainment industry is experiencing COVID fatigue.
In the first year of the COVID-19 pandemic, the global prevalence of anxiety and depression increased by a massive 25%. This is according to a scientific brief released by the World Health Organization. The brief also highlighted young people and women have been worst affected. Director of the Pan American Health Organization, Dr. Carissa Etienne, says mental health has and was already a serious problem for countries in the Americas and has grown with the pandemic.
Our new scientific brief that was based on global burden of disease data shows some early evidence of the pandemic's impact on mental health. In the first year of the COVID-19 pandemic, global prevalence of anxiety and depression increased by more than 25%. The greatest increase in depression and anxiety were found in places that were highly affected by COVID-19, where infection was high and movement was restricted. And it's interesting to note that females were more affected than males, and younger people, especially those aged 20 to 24 years, were more affected than older adults. People with pre-existing mental disorders, particularly severe mental disorders such as psychosis or bipolar disorder, when infected with COVID-19, they had a higher risk of COVID-19 related hospitalization, severe illness, and death. The increase in the prevalence of mental health problems has coincided with severe disruptions to mental health services.
The ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict has now raised questions surrounding the Russian military committing war crimes. The International Criminal Court has announced that they will investigate these claims in an unbiased manner.
Ukrainians huddled inside a kindergarten last week, thinking they'd be safe. Instead, a child and 2 civilians were killed. This is drone footage of the kindergarten, showing a man lying on the ground, blood pooling around him, and damage to the school in multiple locations. This weapon from Kharkiv lying atop ashy snow. This week, the International Criminal Court, or ICC, announced it would investigate if war crimes have been committed in Ukraine.
This is a reminder to all factions, to all parties to the conflict, that they must conduct themselves in compliance with the laws of war. Drilling down, of course, the obligation is to conduct credible investigations, which means there's no destination that is predetermined. We have to get to the truth.
Amnesty International says this is just a sampling of the evidence it has collected of Russia's suspected use of cluster munitions since it invaded Ukraine last week.
We have investigated 7 cases in depth where cluster munitions and other ballistic missiles that are prohibited under international law have struck schools, hospitals, medical centers, places that are not supposed to be hit by weapons because they're protected as civilian objects under international law.
In 2014, Human Rights Watch accused the Ukrainian military of widespread use of cluster munitions while fighting pro-Russian rebels in Donetsk. Political analyst Dmitry Babich says Russia demanded an investigation, but it went nowhere.
Unfortunately, international judicial bodies are not independent, not only from powerful governments, but also from public opinion. You know, right now, public opinion is very much against Russia, and it sees this tragedy that is going on in Ukraine in black and white terms. I think the story is not black and white.
When fired, cluster munitions create a kind of fireworks of small bombs, scattering indiscriminately across several hundred meters. Those that don't explode leave landmines, often killing children who pick up the small balls left behind. More than 100 countries have agreed to ban their use. Russia and Ukraine have not.
And following Russia's veto of a United Nations Security Council resolution to demand their withdrawal from Ukrainian soil, the United Nations General Assembly moved to adopt a similar resolution. Most member states supported this resolution, which condemns Russia's military actions and President Putin placing his nuclear forces on high alert.
Ukraine came to the General Assembly arguing that Russian aggression is a violation of the UN Charter, as well as a deadly existential threat.
They have come to the Ukrainian soil not only to kill some of us, not only to shift our course and priorities. They have come to deprive Ukraine of the very right to exist.
Here, Russia has no veto power, just the power to make its case, even in the face of enormous opposition.
Your refusal to support today's draft resolution is a vote for a peaceful Ukraine, free from radicalism and neo-Nazism.
In the end, only 4 member states sided with the Russians, 141 voting in favor of the resolution, deploring the military operation.
Today, the world has spoken with a clear, united voice. Together, the vast majority of the world has condemned Russia's unprovoked, unjustified, unconscionable war. We have deplored Belarus for allowing its territory to be used to facilitate this aggression.
35 countries abstained from voting, among them China, India, and South Africa.
The resolution that we have considered today does not create an environment conducive for diplomacy, dialogue, and mediation.
However, the United Arab Emirates, which had abstained on a similar resolution in the Security Council, came out in favor.
Right now, we recognize that this resolution adopted here today is a necessary signal of where we need to be going. Resigning ourselves to a cycle of perpetual violence and sanctions that only adds to the suffering of civilians diminishes us all.
Under international law, matters of peace and security are the purview of the Security Council, but the Council invoked a rarely used provision of the UN Charter to get around the Russian veto and call for this special emergency session of the General Assembly. Its outcome, according to sponsors, shows Russia's isolation on the international stage.
Let's go over to Wendy now to hear what she has for you on this Friday edition of Morning Barbados to take you into the weekend.
Well, good morning to you, Shane. Good morning to our viewers. Today, March 4th, marks a celebration of several different days. It's firstly World Obesity Day. It's also National Earthquake Preparedness Day. Do you know what you should do? We'll tell you a bit more. It's also the annual Caribbean Day of Prayer, and we'll be looking into that, as well as Colon Cancer Awareness Day. And today will be our final day to see those little ones back off to school for face-to-face. So you can join us for these stories and more, Shane, coming up.
Thank you so much, Wendy. We'll take a break here. We got more news coming your way here on the Morning Report. A new tourism initiative is about to take shape right here in Barbados. It's the brainchild of Intimate Hotels of Barbados, and Executive Director Davana Lane says micro, small and medium-sized properties stand to benefit from this exercise.
We're the implementing agency, and we will be launching a pilot project called Teal Tourism. And that's something that you can look out for. I'm not able to share too many details here, but it is a platform where micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises will be able to have mobile payments, to receive mobile payments for their services. And that's something that we felt strongly that we can work along with the funder, who is Compete Caribbean Partnership Facility, to actualize in Barbados.
The hotel official says they're also looking to upskill the sector, and a vigorous effort is planned as they seek to identify new sources of revenue to develop the industry.
We do receive a subvention from the government, but I've felt strongly that we really do need to seek out other revenue sources. And so we have really been looking at how we can access grants and other funding to be able to do the things that we have planned. Either marketing, advisory, some of the things that Mahmoud would have mentioned in terms of energy security, in terms of the transition to cooperative.
CARICOM isn't relenting on its quest for reparatory justice, and Barbados' Prime Minister, who chaired the Prime Ministerial Subcommittee on Reparations, Mia Moore-Motley, says a draft letter has been prepared and will be sent to leaders of European countries that have played a role in the slave trade. Ms. Motley says this is not the first letter CARICOM heads have sent.
A predecessor of mine sent a letter in 2016, and there was a response to it. And while it was noted that this was a dark period in the history of our countries and theirs, there was not an acknowledgement of the need for reparations. Since then, however, we've had the George Floyd and Black Lives Matter. We've had a recognition by the global population, especially younger people, that there is a need for climate justice. And I think we're dealing with a world that generally is intolerant of the kind of inequity and poverty and discrimination that has come to characterize too much of the last 3 to 4 decades in particular of global activity and development.
The Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation was among scores of winners announced during the recently concluded 3rd edition of the Gainon Awards. This as the Stand-Home Party captured Online Event of the Year. Head of TV Joe Ford thanked all involved in the production as well as those for nominating the CBC.
First and foremost, I really want to thank the organizers of the Going On Awards. That the Stand-Home Party was even nominated is amazing because it really is a people's award. It is the participants are all nominated by the people and voted on by the people. So this is a lot. When we first put on the Stand-Home Party, produced it, we weren't even sure how it was going to take off, but it came off beyond our wildest dreams. It was a lot of fun to produce, but it was also a lot of work to produce. So we're really happy and thankful that people see the work that we're doing here at the CBC and that they love it.
In sporting news, the Russian owner of the Premier League football club Chelsea has agreed to put the club up for sale and donate all proceeds to aid the Ukrainian victims of the war. The conflict has made it difficult for him to maintain ownership of the club.
Despite booking a spot in the FA Cup quarter-finals, there was a somber look on the faces of Chelsea's players on Wednesday night. That's because behind the scenes, the Blues are facing their most uncertain period in recent history. Before their match, Chelsea owner Russian billionaire Roman Abramovich announced he plans to sell the club. The 55-year-old's ownership has become complicated by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Some have called for him to face sanctions. Abramovich has already given stewardship and care of Chelsea to club trustees.
Very sad day for us. Roman's taken the club so far, and the club have done so much under his watch. So, it is what it is. And as players, we have to carry on and be professional.
It's the best part. It's a superb part. They've stopped right there.
Chelsea have become one of the giants of club football since Abramovich took over in 2003. Since then, they've won 5 Premier League titles, 5 FA Cups, and the Champions League twice. They were also recently crowned World Club Champions. Once the club is sold, keeping up these standards won't be easy.
But they will need money spent on them because that money has been put in by Abramovich over the course of 20 years. They're running at a loss every year, and that's been covered by Abramovich. And a new owner will have to be prepared to inject new money into the club.
Potential buyers have already begun to surface. Swiss billionaire Hans-Jörg Wyss says he's been approached to purchase the London team. There's even been interest from the world's biggest MMA star, Conor McGregor. Whoever takes over, they'll need deep pockets, with Abramovich looking for more than $4 billion. Chelsea fans will be hoping the situation can be resolved soon, and the new owner will continue to help the team win trophies.
That's sports. Time now for a look at the weather. Nice and cool on the outside. 24.5 degrees Celsius is where the temperature stands right now. It's fair and slightly hazy. The relative humidity stands at 77%. The barometric pressure is 13.5 millibars, and those winds have picked up slightly, coming out of the east at 32 kilometers per hour. There will be a low tide this morning at 2 minutes to 11. There will also be a high tide coming your way at 20 minutes after 5 in the afternoon. Those seas, however, are moderate to rough in open water. Swells are peaking at 3 meters and expected to increase. Barbados will see a mix of sunshine and clouds today with occasional brief scattered light showers. And tonight, a mix of clear skies and clouds with a few scattered light showers. And here's a look at the international weather forecast. That's it for the Friday edition of the Morning Report. I'm Shane Seeley. I'll see you at 7 with the headline news. Up next is Wendy Burke with Morning Barbados.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning, Barbados, good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, 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 morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning, Barbados, good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning, Barbados, good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Barbados. I'm up and I hope you are too. This morning we're going to continue to show you those children as they go back to school. And I want to thank all you parents and guardians who've submitted those photographs. Today will be our final day of showing you just what these little ones are doing now that they've returned to face. But this morning we will be looking at World Obesity Day. We touched on it earlier in the week, but today marks the actual day, and I want to welcome the chair of the Barbados Childhood Obesity Prevention Coalition, Mr. Suleiman Bulbulia. Good morning to you, Suleiman.
Good morning, Wendy.
Now you're telling us bright and early exactly what you need us to do, protect our children. Now, today marks the day, and it's not just a challenge for Barbados, but it is something which is impacting our youth globally. And what I want to find out from you is, we've heard the science, we understand what's going wrong, all of the sweet drinks, etc. But what are we really going to do going forward? How are we acting now?
That is a perfect question, Wendy, and that's what we need to know. We need to act, and that's the theme of this year as we mark World Obesity Day today. The theme is everyone must act now. And that's the question. We need to start implementing policy that has been drafted, that is there on the books. The school nutrition policy is on the books, and we commend government for reaching to that stage. What we need next is action. We need that implemented in our schools. We have a problem. We have a serious health crisis, and we are focusing, our coalition is focusing on our young people, on our children. And as you said, the science and the research is showing that we have a serious challenge with obesity and obese young people, and we need to put that policy in place. Start at this level of the schools where the environment is there, that you can start there and get the policy in place where children now can have access to healthier foods and drinks and a healthier lifestyle there in that school environment.
Okay, now outside of the school environment, we still need to come home. There are other activities we take part in. But if I have a child who is obese, what support is there for that child and that parent, as well as information to help us get back to what is supposed to be our ideal body mass index? What support is there?
There's different levels of support we have found, especially working with our coalition. We have found that our partners are all doing something in their own space and with their own audience, and the medical practitioners also, we're engaging with them, that as they interact with the persons who come to them for advice for health requirements, that they also speak to them about their lifestyle and what they eat and drink. So we have a number of different levels that we are working at. Our social media platforms also provide a lot of information. This week we launched a number of different informational tidbits, videos that you can see. So you can go to our social media, Heart and Stroke Foundation of Barbados, IG, Facebook, and see what is there. And get some really great information on what you can do, what you can do, what you can implement. Simple measures, things that don't cost anything, that don't cost much in some cases. Simple things that you can do. We also have at the Heart and Stroke Foundation the Youth Gym, which looks at children who are definitely in that category of being obese, to work with them to bring down their body mass and to look at making them a healthier young people. So there are different levels, but our coalition partners are working a lot to get the messaging out, to do activities that will help the Barbadian society as a whole.
I'm glad you said activities, because you're actually going to be having a virtual walk via Zoom for World Obesity Day. Tell us about that.
So we are planning to do that. It's virtual, but we want to get everybody involved, and that will be this evening. So we want to get everyone on board with that. You can get more information again on our social media handles, how that is going to work. We want to get people involved in that, walk a mile and work out. We're encouraging people to get more involved in exercise activities, especially again our young people. And that's one of the things that we are putting into working with the school environment, to have more activities in the school as well as the children come to school. Have access more to physical education. We want to show that PE is not just about those who can run fast, or those who can throw a javelin good, or those who can do high jump, or play football, or play cricket. We want every child in the school to be involved. So that message goes out to the families and to the society, that get your children involved in some sort of physical activity, whether they're good at running or not. Just get them involved, and get them active. That is one part of the whole scheme of looking at healthier lifestyles.
Another thing that you've been looking at is that you've been getting a number of youth advocates involved, and you recently had a youth forum discussing the whole subject of obesity and where we're at. How did that go for you?
Oh, that went extremely well. We are of the philosophy that nothing for the youth without the youth. And that's our philosophy. And so we get the young people involved in as much of the programs that we have as possible. And so we felt to get this whole thing off and running, get the young people having a discussion. And that discussion, I believe, was on Tuesday on CBC, and we thank CBC for that opportunity. It was fantastic. We had a great response. We are hearing about a part two. I'm hoping CBC will give us a part two on that. But it was phenomenal, and we did get a lot of tremendous feedback to that discussion, because the discussion is wide and embracing. It's not just about one aspect of. It's not just food and drink. It's an embracing aspect. It's transformational for us and the society.
Because you see, also too, in terms of food and drink, people assume that you only become obese because of overeating. But then we know there are children who also have glandular disorders. They might not eat as much as we think they do, but they too are predisposed to being obese because of genetics. How is the foundation also helping to deal with this type of child?
I mean, as I said, we have programs in place for this type of child, but it's not only about overeating. We recognize is that is what we eat, the foods that we consume. So we might not even overeat that food, but it's the fact that the food itself has ingredients in it that are not healthy. And by and large, we are finding more and more of that in our society. And that's why one of the other things that our coalition is calling for is front of package warning labels. We need to have that implemented because you want to know what you're purchasing and what is involved, what is the ingredients in that product before you eat it. So it's it's, as I said, all embracing. But we do have, as I mentioned, the program for young people who are in that situation, the youth gym. You can go to our social media handles and you'll see what we have in there for them.
But you see, we also need to be cognizant of cost. Eating healthy is not necessarily always cheap. It's easier for you to get flour, to get bread. You may wish to have the Kool-Aid in a packet as opposed to juicing natural fruits because, you may or may not be able to afford them on a daily or a weekly basis. So are we offering any nutritional advice within a budget?
You see, that's a narrative that I've been coming over throughout our programs, and we've getting feedback on that all the time, but it's not necessarily true. And what we recognize that is true is that people are doing it more for convenience rather than for price. So it's convenient to get a package of Kool-Aid or whatever and do that, whereas it is a little harder to perhaps drink water, your taste buds, but it's much easier to drink water or to infuse that with a bit of fruit. So what we recognize is that it may not necessarily be more expensive, it may be more convenient to go and get these unhealthy foods and so on. But again, we are involving in our messaging tips on how to do that, how to live healthier, how to prepare your foods healthier, what to look for, what to check out in the supermarket, what is not as expensive. If you're saying that it is expensive, we are putting that within our messaging because we recognize that we have to do all of these things as well as what our core remit is.
Okay, now today is World Obesity Day, but you would have had other events throughout the week and other things coming up. Tell us a bit more about what you're doing because we can't stop the fight on March 4th.
No, and we're using March 4th and today, and we're using the days surrounding the day to amplify our message. We're just amplifying what we do, our activities. But going forward, we're going to have a number of other events, activities. We have a whole plan going forward. So we want to do a number of different initiatives. Our coalition partners as well will be rolling out different programs, sensitizing the public, sensitizing those who we need to sensitize. We want to work with government on this as well. We have already reached out to our minister. We now have a minister with responsibility for NCDs. This is an excellent initiative of government to put a minister with direct responsibility for that. We recognize that the Ministry of Agriculture has now included not only food security, but nutritional security. Again, we would like to work with them to build that out because that is going to be very, very important. So there are a number of programs that we have planned for the coming year, and we want to get persons on board, persons who share our passion and our desire to see a healthier Barbados come and get on board with our coalition. We are open to persons who are willing to work to struggle for this cause.
So if I wanted to be a part of the coalition, where can I go to find the information about how to register? Is there a website? What are your social media handles?
So you strictly look for Heart and Stroke Foundation. That's our parent body. That's where we are housed. Go to Heart and Stroke Foundation of Barbados, and you will definitely see a number of information, contact points there. You just send an email. I think we have a WhatsApp as well, or contact me. I have no problem. I'm public. So you can contact me and I will definitely direct you to how you can get involved. But there is a contact form and you get, right, it's coming up there on the screen now. Reach out and we will respond back to you for sure.
Okay, so let's hope that we get a few more people coming on board to join in this fight in terms of ensuring that our children are not obese. And finally, what would you say our level is at now in terms of the numbers, especially since the pandemic 2 years ago? What type of increase have you seen?
Well, we can't say that for certain unless the research is done, and that we are hoping to get that completed. But we know that it has been a challenge over the last 2 years, especially with the pandemic. Young people are at home, the children were at home, not having enough physical activity as well, not having exposure to good nutrition, and perhaps eating not what they're not supposed to eat. So we recognize that it is a challenge. We recognize that it was also a challenge for those adults who have NCDs already. It was a huge challenge for them during the pandemic. So when the numbers come in, we are fearful that it might be higher than we think it is, but we are hopeful that we can move forward now that we're coming out of the pandemic to do a lot more to sensitize Barbadians to choose healthier.
Well, I'm hoping that they heed your messages and that they also join your coalition in the fight against NCDs and also childhood obesity. I want to thank you for joining us this morning, Mr. Suleiman Bulbulia, who is the chair of the Barbados Childhood Obesity Prevention Coalition. Do have a great day, and I hope all of your activities are a success.
Thank you very much, Wendy, and thank you, CBC.
Morning Barbados will be back in a moment, and we'll tell you all about the Caribbean National Day of Prayer.
What are you eating that for lunch? I bet it don't taste good.
Does anyone know the answer to this question?
Oh, I know that one. Pick me. I can't remember the answer to that. Oh, does he know? Wait a minute. How he got so much energy?
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And welcome back. We're going to be looking at the annual Caribbean Day of Prayer. And to help me, I have the founder of Prayer Warriors International, Pastor Courtney Salmon. He'll be telling us what this is all about. Good morning to you, Pastor Salmon.
Good morning to you, Wendy, and to all the viewers and listeners. It's indeed a pleasure having, to talk this morning to a TV celebrity, Wendy Burke.
Well, maybe you can pray for me as well. And that's what we're talking about. You are looking not only to get Barbados involved in this process, but you're also asking the members of the CARICOM Caribbean region, as well as those within the diaspora, to be a part of this day. Tell us why.
Well, we definitely, I'm sure you will agree that we need prayer more so than ever with all the problems of vicissitudes of life and the things that are happening today with the war, rumors of wars, and the problems in our communities. You know, we definitely need to pray more, and that's why we chose the theme is on March 4th on your knees, and we're calling all persons in Barbados, across the Caribbean, the diaspora, and those living overseas, Barbados living overseas, abroad. And we are calling for 1 million with an M, capital M, to prayer on this day today. And we're expecting and having the faith that great and powerful things will happen. Because when people pray, things happen.
It is very true. Now, how are we going to go about getting this million? How have you been circulating your message about the fact that today is the day, and what are some of the things we want to pray for in terms of the healing of the world?
Yeah, well, I use the social media quite a bit on Facebook with those people who are there. I send out emails, and last year, we were on virtually across the Caribbean. We had clergy from all parts of the Caribbean giving a message and praying as well. We also had a message from the Honorable David Comachon, who gave a message to the people of the Caribbean. So we have recontacted these people, and we have sent information to these people, and also those persons living in USA, Canada, England, and indeed across the world. Because the more people praying, the more powerful things are happening. It will happen. And when you pray in one accord, you know, I refer back to the Bible. When the disciples prayed in one accord, great and powerful things happen. And that's what I expect to happen. Wendy, 2 years ago, just prior to the COVID, we engage in prayer on the radio, praying for every parish. We had 11 leading clergy praying. Then we had the Prime Minister also sent a prayer, which was read by one of the ministers, right? And I believe that helped in some way, because I believe in prayer very strongly, in not having the devastation that one was expecting during the COVID. So prayer works. I believe it, you know, and we have to keep praying.
And
because Wendy,
go ahead.
Okay, I would like to say that we grew up with an appetite of prayer. I'm sure you would agree with that. We went to school. We pray in the morning at 9. We pray at lunchtime. We pray when we come back, and you know, it was prayer. We pray in the mornings when we get up. We pray at night. You know, this night I lay me down to sleep. I give the Lord my soul to keep that prayer, the Lord's prayer. And that, not only that, like Wednesday, Ash Wednesday, most schools in Barbados, if not all, would have gone to churches, right? And what is happening right now, we are not having that that visitation of people to the church for Sunday school like we grew up on. It was a pleasure really going to Sunday school. You know, well, one of the reasons I went to Sunday school is that I used to see some beautiful women.
And the Lord made them that way, so there's not a thing wrong with seeing them. No, you're going to be asking us to prayer at intervals, 6, 9, noon, 3, and 6. What's the significance behind these times? And are you asking us to prayer at everyone, or just choose an hour that's suitable to you as an individual?
No, that was biblically inspired, Wendy, because if we refer to the Bible, we have the first hour, 6 o'clock, the second hour, 9, the third hour, 12, the 6 hour, and so on, so forth. So that was divinely chosen and biblically chosen.
Okay.
And I think, okay, go ahead.
Right. Now, what are some of the things right now? You mentioned war and so on that we need to be praying about. But what are some of the other burgeoning issues that are not only impacting Barbados, that you see impacting us within the region and globally, that we need to get on our knees for?
Well, one, and not necessarily in this order, we have the COVID-19, which has devastated us in all areas. Then you have the family. The number one is the family, because the devil has targeted the family, because he knows that when he attacks the family, he attacks the community, attacks the home, even the church, the school. So we need to pray for unity in the family, love in the family, the crime situation, the economic situation, and not only that, the food situation, because not too long ago, my 90th anniversary message, I spoke to the need for planting food, and just recently I've been hearing from the powers that be how important food is to the country.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned food, because there's a food program which you conduct for the needy. Tell me a bit about it.
Well, we did that 2020. We gave out, just to start with, or preface what I want to say, we gave out a number of bags to the homeless and the needy at Jubilee Gardens. Now, we in the making right now is a national food program, because in these times, these are some very tough times, and people are finding it very hard, to meet ends. So we are coming up with a plan to have a national food program to feed or to give food to the people of Barbados. Now, we are hoping
that's
to
very commendable. Who do you want to get on board?
Well, businesses, churches. I will be contacting embassies overseas to assist, and many other organizations to do that. In the plan, we have a chuck a buck. We're hoping to do that twice a year, or chuck a buck at gas stations and supermarkets. And we asking a big organization here to partner with us in this. I've contacted the leader so far, and you will hear more about it. And I believe it's going to be a worthwhile and a very laudable program to help the people of Barbados. And that's what we were called to do as pastors, as priests, and leaders, to go out in the community. But, Wendy, what I have realized, that it's not like before. And I believe to some extent, this is the cause of it, right? In 1962, Madeleine O'Hare was able to take prayer out of schools and the commandments out of schools. And it just filtered across the world. And perhaps it might be happening in some countries in the Caribbean. But prayer is very, very important. And it's sad to say that we have the clergy who is saying that the part of the Bible, which is the Old Testament, is done away with, and is Moses' law. But Moses didn't write that law, the Ten Commandments. It was written by God's own finger. So, and I just want to say, a picture paints 1,000 words, and this is the picture here.
Okay. Godless and lawless society is a lawless society. Okay.
A lawless, yeah.
Yes.
Meaning that, without the commandments, we will have a lawless society. Without God, we will have a lawless society. And that's what's happening today in the world. And it's sad to say that some priests are saying that the laws are done away with. One priest said that, and the Old Testament, part of the Old Testament, is no longer, it's a myth. Then you had another priest saying that, sad to say this, that you can't buy a pig in a bag.
Well, that one caused a lot of disruption, and we don't even want to get into those kinds of biblical arguments. It would take all day. Yeah. But what we do want to do is encourage everyone to be a part of your International Day of Prayer. We know as a prayer warrior, you are always here trying and, proclaiming in the name of Jesus toward helping those who really need it.
I noticed you did some homework here.
Yes, we did. We always do here at the CBC. So we want to thank you. Yes, that was a big one. Pre-COVID, so that's why we're not in the mask. But I'm sure now that whatever you do, you'll do it the right way.
I just want to say quickly that we will have a prayer on your CBC radio at 9 a.m., like I said before, 12, 3, and 6.
Okay, so we'll look forward to that, and we'll let our listeners know to tune in. Thank you so much, Pastor Selman, and here's hoping that we all get together and get that million praying for the region. Have a great morning.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
This is Morning Barbados. We're talking about the International Day of Prayer, but we'll be back in a moment and we'll have some news from Shane Seeley.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And it's time now for our morning news recap with Shane Seeley.
Here's your headline news for this Friday, March the 4th. And it's official. Breathalyzer testing will begin in Barbados on April 1st. And that's according to the acting inspector, Rodney Innes. Breathalyzer testing became law back in 2017 and training of police officers has already begun.
So between now and the end of the month, we are going to saturate the roads and all the buildings and all the drivers of Barbados with road safety education. That's our intention, to make you aware of the breathalyzer, its positives, and to generally ask people to comply to make the roads of Barbados a lot safer.
And Constable Kimar White is one of the early graduates of the training, and he explains how the equipment works.
In my right hand, I have the printing device for the breathalyzer. So this will be able to print your results instantaneously, and the person will be able to have a copy of their results. This is the actual breath testing device, very small, and is able to store about 4,000 breath tests internally. And it gives you a reading very quickly. Within seconds, you get a reading once you blow. Each person, they blow into an individually packaged mouthpiece, and as you can see, it's sealed. We show you that it's sealed, and we only touch the part with the tab on the end. And as I'm wearing my personal protective gear, out there we'll also be wearing our face shields and our masks while carrying out these tests for our safety.
Reducing the cost of food and getting CARICOM nationals to eat more foods produced in the region are critical going forward. To this end, Barbados' Prime Minister Mia Motley has welcomed a proposal by Guyana aimed at advancing the CARICOM agri-food systems agenda. Ms. Motley says the initiative came as a result of the Regional Agricultural Ministry's meeting back in 2018.
And we indicated then that we really, as a region, needed to recognize that food and water were becoming the new oil, and that we needed to be able to reduce the volume of imports while at the same time increasing the opportunities for our agricultural sector, our farmers in particular, but at the same time seeking to do two other things. One, reduce the cost of food, and two, encourage our people to eat more locally grown food that would be better for them and would help us in reducing the bills we hope in the long run, medium to long term, that we spend in fighting chronic non-communicable diseases. There's too much diabetes, there's too much hypertension, there's too much strokes.
Looking at the local COVID-19 numbers now, Barbados recorded 162 new cases from the latest round of tests done by the Best dos Santos Public Health Lab. Delving into those numbers, 77 males and 85 females made up the new cases in 1,005 tests conducted on Wednesday, March 2nd. The cases comprised 29 individuals under 18 and 133 people who were 18 years and older. The number of people in isolation facilities was 59 at that time, while 1,686 people were in home isolation. As at March 2nd, there were 316 deaths from the viral illness. And that's your headline news for this Friday. I'm Shane Seeley. I'll see you at 12 with CBC Newsday. It's back to you, Wendy.
Thank you so much, Shane, for keeping us abreast of the news. When Morning Barbados returns, we'll tell you all about the good decision of the day, as well as Cure Oxygen Water.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And we're back. It's time now for that good decision of the day. And what is it today? Number 5, how to be happy? Declutter. Decluttering sounds like a really big project, but setting aside just 20 minutes a week can have a big impact. Set a timer on your phone and take 15 minutes to tidy up a specific area of one room, say maybe your closet or that out-of-control junk drawer. Put everything in its place and toss or give away any extra clutter that's not serving you anymore. You can keep a designated box for giveaways to make things a little easier and avoid creating more clutter. Use the remaining 5 minutes to do a quick walkthrough of your living space, putting away whatever stray items end up in your path. You can do this trick once a week, once a day, or any time that you feel like your space is getting out of control. I should tell that to my bag and make it happy as well. So declutter. That is our good decision of the day on how to be happy. Now it is time for the final look of those little ones returning to face. Let's see those bright, shiny, anxious faces wanting to meet their friends again. Here we have Ruby, and they are attending the Maria Holden Nursery School. Amaria, she's going to the Charles F. Broome Memorial. She's closing that door with smiles because she knows she's going to be getting to see her friends that she hasn't seen in a while. Here now is Faith. It's games time. Oh, Faith also seems to be a prefect. Congrats to you, Faith, who goes to St. Luke's Brighton Primary School. Here is Camden. He's at the Maria Holden Nursery School. These little tots are always excited about school, learning how to do their alphabet, those letters they're writing for the first time. Camden, have a great day. And Shanique, she's at the Hinesbury Primary School. You can see she's anxious to go. These little ones always know how to strike a pose. Well, we're hoping and wishing everyone a great day as you go on the road today, and we'll be back in a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's now time to win with Pure Oxygen.
And that is exactly what it is. Time to win with Pure Oxygen Water. It's time for that giveaway. So it's time to make your call to 228-5562, 228-5563, because we are going to be giving you this morning a 12-pack of Cure Water, a polo shirt, and a face mask. Now, Cure Oxygen Water goes beyond hydration. It challenges everything that you thought you knew about water. It is helping you to discover great health and limitless potential. Now, this Cure Oxygen Water is available on their website, www.shopsmjbarbados.com, and also at supermarkets island-wide. Now, let me tell you that this water that stimulates brain activity, this is my question to you this morning. What does Cure taste like? Call me, 228-5562, 228-5563. What does Cure taste like? Remember, it improves your recovery, sports performance, so it's coming up to NAPSAT, BSAT. Maybe you should try this water. It is also about energy, increasing your energy levels and stamina. Good morning to you. Do you have the answer to my Cure Oxygen question?
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. What does Cure taste like?
It tastes like water.
It tastes like water.
Yes.
No, it is not any regular water. I'm sorry. Try again. Cure, helping to improve your strength and detox your blood while alleviating those tension headaches. It is available at www.shopsmjbarbados.com and supermarkets nationwide. Good morning. Do you have the correct answer?
Hi, good morning.
Yes, go ahead with your answer.
Oxygenated water is the taste.
That's a part of the answer, but not quite the full answer. So let's see if we can get someone again winning this 12-pack of Cure, that polo shirt, and that mask. What does Cure taste like? Yes, it's going to improve your energy, stimulate brain activity. We all need that because as we age, we get a little forgetful. But it's also reducing stress. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, please. Does it taste with a bubbly flavor?
That's a part of the question, part of the answer, but not the full answer. So we need to hear from you exactly what Cure tastes like. If you have a bottle, you're going to see it there. You should be buying it so that you know you're going to be getting a superior water, which is also going to help to remedy those irregular sleeping patterns. Good morning. Let's see if this caller has the correct answer. Go ahead. Don't listen to your television, just your telephone, and give me your answer. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Yes, what does Cure taste like?
Cure tastes like the spring water.
Mm-hmm. What else?
I think that's what I heard a gentleman say, that it tastes like spring water.
What type of spring water does it taste like? And what else does it have?
I really don't know. I just heard when he said it tastes like spring water with an I don't know what else.
Okay. We'll give you that because you came the closest, yes? But the answer is, the full answer is that it tastes like natural spring water but lighter because of the oxygen bubbles, and it has no aftertaste. So if you stay on the line and give your information to my producer, you will know just how you can collect that 12-pack of Cure, that polo shirt, and that face mask. So congrats to you. You came the closest this morning. And remember, Cure helps with faster recovery after exercise. What does Cure taste like? It tastes like natural spring water, but lighter because of the oxygen bubbles, and it has no aftertaste. And those oxygen bubbles are actually smaller than your blood cells, so it works even faster. Yes, they're nano bubbles, I understand, that move through your bloodstream and help your gastric tract as well. So that's been our Cure question of the day. What does Cure oxygen water taste like? Remember to get it. It's available island-wide. Morning Barbados will be back in a moment.
Pure oxygen. It's not hype, it's science.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Well, it's time to talk food, and we're talking with the Barbados Agricultural Development and Marketing Corporation. We want to say a bright and sunny morning to Leandra Grant, who's the manager of Pack House and the Food Innovation Unit with the specialty on crops. Now, it's all about local produce and its value-added products. So how does the Food Innovation Unit help in this regard?
Well, good morning, Barbados. Good morning to all. The Food Innovation Unit, as you know, that stands for at the BADMC. We produce flours from cassava, breadfruit, sweet potato, and our newest addition has been pumpkin flour. And I believe all of you would know of the Carametas brand, and that's where you can find all of these specialty gluten-free flours as well as gluten-free desserts.
Okay, so where do you go to source the raw materials to make these various flours and so on?
We usually have a list of farmers who would supply us as far as St. Lucie, as close as Christchurch. We also have the feed farmers who produce these crops for us, and the ordinary Bajan homeowner who may have a breadfruit tree. They would call and they say they want to supply us with breadfruits or supply us with cassava. So once you have these products, we take at least between 500 to 1,000 per day, and we use this then to produce our flours.
Okay, interesting. Now, the process involved in converting these raw root crops and vegetables and so on and turning them into the value-added products, is that a difficult one? Exactly what is involved?
It's quite simple. We take the raw materials from you. That is cleaned, it is peeled, it is dried. Then we go through the milling and packaging process. With the cassava, the only difference is that we would wring it to ensure that all of the waters come out of the raw material. But with all the other staples, it's just a simple process. We take it, dry, wring, mill, and package, and that's what you would see in the supermarkets.
Okay, now outside of the flours, are there any other value-added products that you produce?
Well, of course, we have the Carametas gluten-free cassava great cake. We also have the sorbets, which is like an ice cream. And then we also went into things like our cheesecake and those things. And we are hoping to go into newer products as time goes by.
Okay, and what I note with interest that they are gluten-free, and a number of people have gluten allergies and so on. So like, what kind of uptake do we actually see from people who have special eating needs? Do you find your shelves are empty before you can manufacture enough?
What I would say is that recently we've had the school meals department coming on board to ensure that the primary schools across Barbados, that our children, that they eat healthy. And then we also get calls from persons with celiac disease, other persons with different allergies that would say that they cannot use things with gluten. And I wouldn't say particularly that our shelves are empty, but there is a high demand for flours and products that are gluten-free.
Now, if I can just backtrack to your pumpkin flour, does this mean that I have less stress in doing my pumpkin fritters? I can go straight?
Of course, Wendy, you just give me a call. I can be reached at 826-0734, or you can call the BADMC at 535-6900, and you can place your orders for the pumpkin flour.
Okay, what about if I'm a retailer or I'm an owner of a restaurant? What kind of wholesale options can you offer me?
The numbers that I called just now, they can reach us at that number or those numbers. And there's also orders at BADMC, ORDERS, at badmc.org, where retailers, restaurants, and any ordinary person can place their order for wholesale, and that has to be over one box or more, one box containing 24 packs of flour, or you can also have the 5 kg packages for persons who are doing it on a large scale.
Now, your flours, I note with interest that your packaging is resealable. So it means that there's no wastage, we have no risk, it can be stored on or off the fridge, yes?
Yes, of course, and they have a shelf life of 1 year. But I'm telling you, when you open our flowers, Wendy, I'm sure you're going to come back within a month, so there's no need to keep it on your shelves for over a year. They are that good.
Well, that I can attest to, because I have used your cassava pancakes and they're quite nice. Now, yes, why the pumpkin? Why did you decide you're going to...
It was really a demand from one of our special customers, Purity Bakeries, and a few other bakers have been requesting this flour. I'm not sure why, but I believe that it tastes good.
Well, let's hope it's for one of my favorite things, pumpkin spice cheesecake.
Of course, and I'm yet to taste that.
Okay, yeah, well, you have those other cheesecakes and your sorbets that are quite nice. Now, are those still readily available on the market, the sorbet?
The sorbets, yes, you can find them at the Trimart stores. You can find them at the, trying to remember the name now, the store, Emerald City. You can find it at our Carameter stores, of course, and the popular supermarkets.
Okay, now when can I get my stuff from Carmetas? What are your opening hours like at the BADMC offices?
Due to COVID, we've been closing a little bit early, so we open from 8 till 4 o'clock each Monday to Saturday, closed on Sundays.
Okay, well, that's great to know that that's what we can have. Now, in terms of the unit and getting this produce out, are you also doing some education along with the sale of the product to let them know of the health benefits?
Well, we have scaled down a little bit as it relates to the educational aspect of it, but we're hoping that at least by the middle of this year, that we can ramp up that marketing activity again, whether it be going into the schools or doing farmers markets again, where we can, inform people as to how to use the flowers. But if you are interested, we still have recipes available in hard copies that we can give to customers, and those are available at our BADMC branch at Fairy Valley and also at Princess Alice.
I want to thank you so much for joining me this morning, Leandra, and telling us all about your healthy value-added byproducts coming out of the Pack House and Food Innovation Unit of the BADMC. I want to wish you a pleasant morning.
Thank you very much, Wendy. And I want to say to your team, it's not about alcohol. We are looking to eat healthy at the Food Innovation Unit. Thanks very much for having me.
Have a great morning.
You too.
Morning Barbados will return with a look at Fresh Friday.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It is time that you better know yourself. Stop wasting time, take a book up off the shelf. Student of reflection, knowledge of yourself. Live life in abundance, prosperity and wealth. Right now things seem insane. Mama Earth been crying cause she feeling all this pain. I know that the sunshine will come after the rain. Love will be the currency exchange.
What you gonna do with this passing of time? What you gonna do with this one precious life? What you gonna do now? What you gonna say? How you gonna meditate and navigate the way? If you can't go outside, you got to go within. There ain't no choice in this Armageddon. There's a new earth arising on the horizon. Global awakening for humankind.
It's time that you better know yourself. Stop wasting time, take a book up off the shelf. Student of reflection, knowledge of yourself. Live life in abundance, prosperity and wealth. Cause right now things seem insane. Mama Earth been crying cause she feeling all this pain. I know that the sunshine will come after the rain. My love will be the currency exchange.
What you gonna do with this situation? How you gonna focus your concentration when fear be running rapid through the population? Stay grounded, stay rooted, raise up your vibration. Don't be afraid of this space of uncertainty, cause every challenge is a new opportunity. Each setback a retrack, a new possibility. We're all in this together, one global community.
Know yourself in the world that you're living in. Show love on the journey when you're traveling. Mission on the earth is to rise up higher. Good over evil, ever blazing the fire. Elevating consciousness.
And you have just watched the music video of Catamoni and Exodus. She is an Australian soul singer and he's the Barbadian rapper. They've teamed up to drop a sweet international collaboration called New Earth Arising. Now, the vocal powerhouse with a whole lot of soul, Catamoni delivers a vibrant and fresh fusion of soulful flavors alongside Exodus. It's conscious hip-hop along with the tasty reggae rhythm. It was produced by Lion Rhythm and mixed and mastered by Barbadian soca legend Randy Eastman. Our guests are here now, Catamoni and Exodus. Good morning to you.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, Barbados.
Yes. Now, this is your first collab. Tell me about it.
Yeah, it's our first collaboration, our first single. Catamoni, she's a wonderful vocalist who I met in Australia in 2020. On the border of 2019 and 2020, I met Catamoni in Australia. I was there playing cricket. Also doing a bit of art there as well. Yeah, we came together during the pandemic and formed this lovely creation, this lovely song.
Okay, so New Earth Arising. Tell me a bit more about the concept of the song and what went into the writing of it, Catamoni.
Sure. So as Exodus said, we met at the beginning of 2020, right when the pandemic had hit, and Nikolai was trapped in Australia at the time with his cricket team. So, the essence of the song was us really like feeling into like, what are we going to do with this time? How are we going to create? How are we going to use our mind? How are we going to focus our energy in the most productive way during this time? So the lyrics, you hear the lyrics are like, if you can't go outside, you have to go within. So this song is really about just embracing the times that we've been living through together and looking at like how can we move forward? How can we create? How can we use these experiences and these challenges that we've had to evolve us and to develop us in the best possible way? Yeah.
But outside of doing your own production, both of you are also running a coaching platform where you're going to be helping other creatives and entrepreneurs to develop their creative power, projects, and potentials. Tell me a bit about that now.
Yeah, so New Earth Arising is my coaching platform. It's a creative development platform, and it's all about helping creators. It's about helping the New Earth leaders, the creative entrepreneurs, to develop their projects, develop their personal potential, their well-being as well. We also have a collab with Exodus has a fashion label as well, so he's created a whole bunch of t-shirts and things that we have dropping as well today.
Yeah, and I understand he's also into doing murals.
Yeah, so pretty much, I'm a fine artist. I studied fine art at college, and that's pretty much my forte. But I love music as well. I love hearing beats, hearing rhythms. I love reggae music. It plays a very big part in my life, and I was grateful for this opportunity to really make some music with Catamoni. She exposed me to a lot of creative ideas and stuff, so it was a very good chance to collaborate with her on this project.
Now, it's interesting, Exodus, because you've moved from making runs to making music. Is there any likelihood of you going back to cricket, or is this where you want to be now?
Well, I love cricket very, very much. Cricket it was my passion, growing up as a youngster. Art also plays a very big role in my life. My family is loaded with artists, from my mom, dad, my brothers, my uncle. My family is just loaded with creatives. So,
can you name them? Because we're hearing Exodus, so there's no surname going along with it. So tell us who are some of the people we know.
Right. Shout out to the Charles family.
Charles family, yeah. My mom is Denise Charles. She's an artist. My brother is Sergio Charles. He just won Graphic Designer of the Year in the the Going On Awards.
Going on. We
Going On
Beijing
Awards.
here.
Yeah,
Yes.
Going On Awards. My brother is Alexei Charles, who shot the video. He did the video
Nomadic
and
visuals.
nomadic visuals. He did the video, and yeah, so yeah, I'm not too sure if I'll take cricket that seriously again, but right now art is really playing a major role in my life.
Okay, tell me about the line and how you're going to be pushing the fashion label.
Yeah, right. So I have a platform called Exodus Rootswear on Facebook and Instagram. I was heavily involved in fashion as well. So we're creating New Earth Horizon t-shirts. You can get one for $50, 50 Barbados dollars. We also have an online platform. I don't know if Kat
for all of our international friends as well, you can get them online. We ship them worldwide. So yeah.
Okay, so we're looking at all of creativity coming together, the musical creativity, the fashion, the video, the art. We're pulling it all into one space and making it work.
Yep.
So, Katamoni, are you going to make Barbados your home permanently, or are you going to be moving between here and Australia? What's it going to be like for you, or is the pandemic still impacting?
Well, at the moment, I think Barbados is one of the most beautiful places on the world to be during a pandemic. So I'm very grateful to have spent the last 18 months here. I think I might miss my home and my family too much to live here forever. But I'm so happy to be here. And this is the first song that I'm dropping off a series of creative collaborations here. So I've been working with other artists and recording with lots of different artists and collaborating, creating. I'm so grateful, for this experience to be able to, connect and co-create and collaborate and, So we'll keep you updated. We'll let you know. But I do love it here, yes.
Okay, we're happy you're loving it. Congrats to you on your first single, New Earth Arising. So let's hope that both you and Exodus have a wonderful day, and we'll just go out. Yes, please. I'm listening.
Right. You can find the song on Bandcamp, on YouTube, on Spotify, and iTunes, right? Those are the platforms that the song would be released on.
Okay, so we're happy to hear that. And you had Randy working with you, so kudos to him as well. Great song. And we'll just show the viewers a bit more. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Blessings.
Bless.
All in this together, one global community.
Know yourself in the world that you're living in. Show love on the journey when you're traveling. Mission on the earth is to rise up higher. Good over evil, ever blazing the fire. Elevating consciousness is my only desire. Yeah, it is my only desire. Healing of the nations, meditating and praying. Age of Aquarius, evolutions we're changing.
It's a time that you better know yourself. Stop wasting time, take a book up off the shelf. Student of reflection, knowledge of yourself. Live life in
And it's time for us to get reading, get our noses in those books. Our first book up in the next chapter is going to be In the Crook of the Frangipani Tree. Now, this has been written by Pat Fitzpatrick Hart. She's a Barbadian, but she relocated to Quebec to become a nurse and study, and she talks all about her life as a caregiver, grandmother, mother, counselor, and nurse. Welcome to you, Pat.
Thank you so much. It's nice to have a little flavor of home.
That is wonderful. And that's exactly what your book offers. Not just a little flavor, but a lot of flavor, as you not only look at the flora and fauna with the frangipani tree living at Grand View and all the other things that happen with the sugarcane field and learning to drive and you and your brother disconnected and arguments on that part, but you also chronicle your movements through life. And you always go back to that spot in your tree where you sat, you enjoyed. Now, let me tell you one of the things I enjoyed most about the book, the idyllic metaphors. You brought back the elements of the Barbadian countryside for me. And I remembered what they smelt like, what they felt like, and how good it was. What prompted this book?
I think I've always enjoyed writing. You know, I went to school at Queen's College. I remember being taken with language and literature, and I think I wrote something for one of the school magazines. And I've always written. I have piles more stories that I could publish. But it's been a way of just expressing my emotions, and remembering the important things in life, like family, Barbados, education, friends. You know, my dearest friend is Greta from school. We've known each other since the age of 12, and we've been friends all these years. Her daughter is my godchild, and so you can't get away from the links and the cousins. And all the friends in Barbados, and shout out to all of them that I'm still in touch with and care deeply for. And so writing has always been a way of just pouring out my feelings, I guess.
But caring and nurturing are big facets of your life, having studied nursing. Tell me a bit about that and making the move from Barbados to Canada, because remember you said in the book that your mother always talks about going away, and you wondered when that chance would come for you, and you seized it as a teenager.
Right. My mom, she has a little certificate which I could have put in the book. She did a 6-week course in nursing, and she had a cure and a remedy for everything. So that was kind of it's a natural thing for me to think about, looking after wounds and helping the dog and all of that. And so when nursing, I heard that it was possible in Montreal, and it was free because we couldn't afford university. There was no way we could have afforded university. And nursing was like, oh, I will do that. That's a fit. And then I went on and I transitioned into things that felt good. I did my master's in counseling, and then, I worked with international students, which was just amazing. I've been so fortunate. My life has been fantastic. I mean, it's had its ups and downs, but thanks to education, thanks to my Barbadian heritage, as you can see behind me, this is my little area, all the relics from home in my office. So.
And you make sure you have your frangipani pin on.
I do, yes. I remember that frangipani tree for sure. And I'd like to shout out to some, of my Barbadian friends, the ones in Navy Gardens, my I reconnected with a school chum, Helena Thorne. We went to school together till we were 17 or 18. We had not seen each other until last year. She happened to be in Montreal, and somehow we got reconnected through Queen's College, alumni gathering. Here we are, these two old ladies at 82, sitting and looking at each other. We had not seen each other since we were 17, and it was like no time had passed. And so now we're in, an ongoing, fabulous relationship. We laugh, we talk, so on.
And that's how your book goes as well. You bring things up from the past, but then you quickly take us to another point in your future, and you get everything in there in terms of a feel good. Even when you speak about death and how it impacted you in losing certain friends, you bring home the reality that that is a part of life which we must all face.
And I think I've said it before, I think that island people, and I think this goes for maritime people. I've met many people in the Maritimes, and I think if you're close to the ocean, it keeps you grounded somehow, and you can cope with life and all of its ups and downs.
What about your singing? Are you still doing that?
I am singing. My whole life now is on Zoom. I have singing classes on Zoom. And I've sung with so many different choirs. One leader was Ted Phillips, who was from Barbados. And I sang with his chorale for maybe 4 or 5 years, and we did performances and so on. So singing it's good for the soul, yeah.
And that's how you are, generally a soulful person who's fully in touch with nature.
I like to think that. And before I forget, I want to thank Tessa Chatterton-Shaw so very much, because she has made all this possible. And Tessa, they're all family related and school related. And, I think when you're connected to friends and family in Barbados, you never lose that connection. Well, I never have. So
what are you hoping to teach others through the text?
I think gratitude for life, for your people, for education, for what you've been taught. Yeah.
So we
especially
have to
now.
Yeah, especially with the pandemic, How long did it take you to finish it?
Oh, some of these stories have been in there for years. My drawer's there. There's still more. Some of them have been in there for a long, long time, because I've always been going to writing groups. And, they'd say, write a story on blah, blah, blah. And I'd write it and put it in the drawer. So some of them have been created many, many years ago. And some more recently. I belong to a writing group, and now we meet on Zoom. My whole life is on Zoom.
Okay.
And so, that's, so I think, what was your question about gratitude? I think,
yes.
Especially now, with the world in such turmoil, it makes you appreciate it. Yeah.
Okay. Now you mentioned that everything's on Zoom and you're 82. So how was it for you, navigating that space? And it seems as though you fully embraced it.
Well, I had a computer, and, it was necessary to learn. And so my son is an IT kind of guy, and so, I try to keep up to date.
Okay. Now I have my copy. How can others get a copy of the book?
So sorry. This is very early for me. Days Bookstore. And anybody can reach Tessa Chatterton Shaw.
Okay, so we'll reach out to Tessa or at Day's Bookstore to get the book.
Exactly.
Yes, we want to thank you so very much, Pat Fitzpatrick Hart. And here's to more writing, and hopefully all of us will learn gratitude just as you have. Congrats on your book, and best of luck with it. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Next up on our, we'll be back and we'll talk more books. Now, before we go, the Department of Emergency Management, the DEM, is in collaboration with the Technical Standing Committee on Coastal Hazards, and they'll be hosting a month of activities from March in celebration of Coastal Hazards and Earthquake Smart Month. Now, as part of this month of activities and in fulfillment of its mandate to inform the public of the importance of earthquake and coastal hazard preparedness, the committee will be staging National Earthquake Preparedness Day on March 4th. That's today. So a national alert will be sent out at 10 a.m. to those of you with mobile phones via the CAP app. Now, what do I do if this should happen to me? Well, I think I need to find something to go under and run for cover. If I'm in a room, spread your arms out against the doorway and hold on. Drop, cover, and hold. That is what we will do. So you'll receive this alert at 10 a.m. if you have the CAP app, and members of the public will be asked to set their alarms to go off to signal that earthquake simulation. It's very important to be prepared. We might also say it's only a test, but there's no telling when something might happen. So you're expected to practice the respected earthquake procedures, record your video footage, and then upload them to social media, tagging the DEM. Let's just see how you perform and how well you've listened to these lessons. Also, to let you know that Shakira Stewart will be launching her book, The 7 Seeds of Self-Transformation, today, Friday, March 4th. She's going from 7 p.m. until 9 p.m. at the Chattel House Village in St. Lawrence Gap, Christchurch. You can go on out. There's no more curfew. So join Shakira as she launches her book. Now, the Barbados Red Cross, they will also be upcycling. It's called the Upcycle Green Affair. It's going to be held tomorrow from 8 a.m. until 4 at the Red Cross headquarters in Warren, St. Michael. Now, there are going to be over 25 local concessionaires, plants, new and gently used clothing, organic products, food and drinks, and lots more. So come out and support local businesses and reduce, reuse, and upcycle. Now, also the National Disabilities Unit, in association with the Media Resource Departments, they're presenting an outdoor movie night. We haven't been out in a while, so feel free to come out to this one. It's going to be held at Lower Columnar Rock, St. Michael from 6:30 p.m. starting this Saturday, and it's going to be Spider-Man No Way Home. And that's at the Disability Unit itself there in Lower Columnar Rock. They have some very sprawling premises, so you can come out, get on the lawn, and enjoy their movie night. Also, the Pie Corner Audition Company, they'll be producing 2 movies during the month of April, and they're looking for actors and actresses. So, if you want to go to this casting call, it's open to professional and amateur actors for small and major roles. In order to register, all you have to do is send a 3 to 5 minute video of your talent and 3 photos of yourself to piecorner@gmail.com. The audition is tomorrow, Saturday, March 5th, from 1 p.m. until 4 p.m. upstairs the Temple Chambers at number 20 Roebuck Street. And then our Boy Scouts Month. Remember, we had them on this week. They will officially launch their annual Founders Day service at the People's Cathedral on Sunday, the 6th of March at 3 in the evening. You can also watch it online because numbers are limited in the church, but you can watch online at Barbados Boy Scouts on YouTube and Barbados Boy Scouts Association on Facebook. So quite a bit of activity for you to take in this weekend. It's been great bringing you Mornin Barbados. We're at the end of the week. It's Friday. Go on out, celebrate World Obesity Day. So many more things to do. But whatever you do, do it safely and do enjoy your day. I'm Wendy Burke.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning.